Welcome to the Stampscapes lab. We were doing some spot coloring pieces, and I thought, orange pumpkins would be really cool. So I've stamped out this, Halloween type of scenario here on a half-page piece of vintage paper, and I've stamped out my pumpkins where they're going to go, and then I've stamped them out, or a bunch of them, onto a piece of orange paper. I'm going to spare you, from having, you know, to watch me cut these out, but I'll cut out the amount of pumpkins here that I need to, and then we'll start pasting them in. So I'll do that right now. All right, we have our pumpkins cut out here. Now, one of the things I should add or note is that if you stamp out your imagery onto your scene, before as opposed to just cutting these out and pasting them in, see, all I need to do is just cut out this rounded portion. I don't really need to cut out the stem because the stem is already in the impression, and then I just have to line that up like that, okay? So it makes for a much easier cut than having to cut out these little portions like that. And then if you have them already stamped out there, you don't have to be exact in terms of the like the darker portion of here, so I can really undercut because that dark side is already on there. So I just need to, be kind of close to the cutting, but not exact at all. And you can see how much of the imagery that I've left on the paper that I'm cutting them out of. Okay, you can see all that black portion. So you can kind of undercut. Like I didn't bother with the shadows and things like that at the base of the pumpkin, so that makes it really easy. Okay, so we're going to glue these down, and I'll get my glue ready to go here. All right, we just have some crafting glue here, and I'll glue down the objects from far to near. There's only one overlap right here, so I guess that's the only one that I really have to get down before any others. Okay. Do it like that, and then leave this one down like so. I think the colors, kind of harmonize pretty well, this orange with this vintage paper. I think it looks kind of cool. These really stand out nicely. Okay, now these ones are going to hang off the edge here, but I'm going to be mounting this piece anyway. So you can see these pumpkins right here. They're not, they're really small, but they're not cut out, perfectly at all right to the edge because I don't need to, and that would be kind of a hassle cutting them out perfectly. So I don't do it, so I just stamp everything out beforehand and I don't have to. And as far as this technique goes. Be kind of cool to mat this one out and then have one of these pumpkins kind of hanging, where it's like going outside of the boundaries of the mat or frame. I don't have this composition completely figured out. I think there's going to be a couple more elements that I want to add in here. I wasn't quite sure what I'd put up top. I was thinking about some sort of word stamp. All right, so we have everything glued down. Now this vintage paper is a really thin paper, so I can see it starting to bow and everything like that. But we'll get this mounted onto a piece of cardstock, and from there I'll trim the sides here. Let's see. Do I do that now, or should I get some tones laid down here? One thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to allow this glue to set up for, 2 or 3 minutes or something like that first, and then we'll proceed from there. All right, as you can see, I've added silence up here. And I haven't mounted this yet. I thought I would add in some shadow forms in here first with a black colored pencil. I'll just kind of add in some shadows at the base of the tombstones for the most part. I won't be doing too much in here. We've already have the a lot of the Tiny Rock Small texture in here, repeated a lot so that it becomes somewhat of a shadow form. So it really saves me a lot of time from having to create shadows. And it does it in a real textural way too, so it kind of adds some decent character to the surface. All right, now at the base of the pumpkins, these pumpkins are dimensional, so being that I've glued them down like this, but let's just kind of add in a little bit more tone around them, and hopefully I can get right up to the pumpkin, even though they're, raised from the background. Yeah, it looks like it's working okay. I just don't want to have like a white line, where I've added in a bunch of colored pencil, but it didn't, I couldn't get right up to the pumpkin. But it kind of has them sitting into the scene a little bit more. See this right here? You add a little bit of shadow at the base of it like this. And it just kind of anchors down our objects instead of them kind of like floating on top of the card. It kind of sits them into the the setting a little bit better. Yeah, they still stand out, but they stand out, but they're more integrated. Now this Victorian house here, one of the things I didn't stamp out the stairway that comes with it, just because I was stamping it up so high, so I've added in one of the new walkways. All right, but I think that should do it there. Let's go a little bit more. We'll develop the shadows just a little bit more here. Okay. Now, I think just to animate this a little bit more better, I think I'm going to add in some. I tell you what, this is white right here. I'll go with a kind of more of a tan color, and we'll try to bring out the windows a little bit more in terms of interior lighting here. Let me see. Let me find a good beige color pen. these the exact same color right here? They look like the exact same color. What was it? Yeah, I think this one's a little bit lighter. This one's getting really empty here. Let me shake this up and I'll be right back. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here with this is I think I'm going to set up that kind of Alfred Hitchcock Psycho kind of scenario here and just kind of illuminate that top window. Well, we'll see how it goes, and if it, some other windows could benefit from illumination, we'll do that. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to decide. That looks pretty good like that, I think. I mean, we could do like all the windows, and that would be pretty interesting, but then that it might have like a kind of a welcoming type of look or something like that, where that might look a little bit more ominous. I don't know. I think it's good as is. All right, so let me see here. Let me see. These pumpkins kind of look okay just as is, and I'm kind of wondering if, I can add in a little bit more, kind of an orange variation in here. I don't think that's not going to change anything. It might be a little bit. There might be a little bit of a variation here with this colored pencil on here. I'm just kind of adding it at the base of the pumpkin. I think it's a little bit brighter looking. Maybe a touch darker, I'm not sure. But I think, yeah, that looks okay. Adds a little bit of, I don't know, kind of richness maybe. And I'm just kind of doing it at the base of the pumpkins. We'll leave the top as is, but yeah. All right, let me get this formatted. We'll take some spray adhesive and put it on. You can see how thin this paper is. Put some spray adhesive in and anchor this down. Then we'll throw a little bit of mat around it, and I'll figure out some some matting on here, what color to go with, either dark or, I don't know, I've been using a lot of gold when it comes to the vintage papers, the suede and wood grain paper. I don't know, but maybe darker would be better for Halloween. I'm not sure. All right, so we'll take a look and see what this looks like when complete. All right, we've got our card formatted here, but I'm going to add in these bats here. I'm going to add them in from one of the Desert series nature sheets. Go like this. Yeah, kind of like that little stream of them through there like that. And that should do it there. So spot coloring, or spot color, I should say. We really didn't color those. Well, a little bit with the colored pencil, but we've just utilized our orange paper there to stamp our imagery on, and the pumpkins are a perfect opportunity for that. You can still put some others throughout here, but I don't know, I think that's a pretty good amount of them for this first, I don't know, whatever, spot colored test with some pumpkins in there. I don't know. I think the paper was a pretty good way to go, as opposed to stamping them out here and then coloring them in, which I guess would look okay too, but these ones really stand out kind of dimensionally and maybe that they're kind of more flat looking. I don't know, maybe that all adds to it. I'm not sure, just kind of doing some tests here and, kind of getting the feel of, I don't know, kind of these minimal types of colors. I think it was a good idea to go with the vintage paper, though, with that vignetting going on up there. This happens down here below here, too, but this is just a half piece right here, so 5.5 inches like that. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hope you liked the card. And thanks so much for tuning in to the Stampscapes channel in general.